So Dying Light 2 Stay Home just came out, and what do I think about it? Well, it's pretty good, but it has some very noticeable issues that need to be brought up if you're considering purchasing the game. But before we start talking about the issues, let's talk about what I liked in the game. Now, I never really was that big of a fan of the first Dying Light. I played it and didn't really enjoy it that much unless I was playing with friends. To me, it got really repetitive, and not enough new stuff was introduced to keep me hooked, so I left Dying Light to play other games. Cue Dying Light 2. Dying Light 2 is a vastly different game than its predecessor, with a similar core build to the game, but with so many new mechanics added in, it almost feels like it's not even related to the original game at all. Like the story, for example. The story is a separate experience from the original narrative. It has new characters, setting, and a different tone. The gameplay also takes on new elements, adopting a more RPG-based system, making combat feel more fast-paced, items more valuable, enemies and weapons having a level system, and choice-based dialogue. I honestly cannot say that much about the choice-based dialogue because I haven't encountered enough of them to make a definitive opinion on whether or not they impact the story. As of writing this script, I have roughly 13 hours in the game and I was faced with about 3 major choices. But to judge whether they impacted the overall story or not, I cannot do. So the gameplay. As I said previously, I wasn't really all that big into the first game, including its combat. Combat felt sluggish, it's just not my style. But Dying Light 2's combat is much more fast-paced, and it's so satisfying. The parkour was also fun, if not a little buggy at times, and the open world was engaging, and I found myself doing a lot of side quests. To be honest, I should be way further in the story with my hours, but most of my hours are me dicking around and having fun. So the side content, is it any good, or is it Far Cry type mechanics? Well, sort of both. A lot of the side quests actually have their own smaller narratives with many character arcs. You also have bandit camps you can raid and some parkour challenges found around the map. There's also these places called dark zones that hold valuable loot, but it's best you only explore those at night. Just a little reminder, I'm not that far into the game, so if there's any more side content I may have left out, please leave those in the comments below. Now, we should probably talk about the problems, and don't worry, it's not anything too big. So as fun as the game is, I have encountered a lot of issues. Textures popping in and out, audio cutting out, T-posing zombies, and cutscenes starting and ending abruptly. I've had a few performance issues as well, but I brushed that off as my system being lower spec. But it's worth a mention that sometimes it'll run a smooth 60 FPS and sometimes 15. Overall, the bugs aren't that bad and can be ignored by most people. But if you really hate bugs, it's probably best you wait a few months to purchase. Dying Light 2 is a fun, open-world RPG that improves upon its predecessor, making for a fun and engaging game. If you like the first game, you'll probably like this one. So this is the first video I'll be giving a game a number score, so I give Dying Light 2 Stay Human a solid 8 out of 10.